Hey, Steve here, and this is video 5, segmenting client searches. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to segment searches for client target markets, and I'm going to give you an example. So in this one, I'm using Blama's profile. He's a client, and I've already gone ahead and done the searches, but I'll show you how I do it, because from time to time, I will ask you to do this typically once a month to go in and do these segmenting searches, okay? So in this case, we are targeting this specific search inside a Sales Navigator, and I'm just going to open it up so I can show you. I'm just going to close the ducks as well so it doesn't pop up here. Okay, so down here there is a group of 14,000 people who are in the, and I'll show you the text, personal injury attorneys. Okay, so that's a specific target market for my client. There's about 14,000 people in that group, right? Now, because Sales Navigator only gives you 1,000 people when you run a search for quality reasons, you can't get access to all 14,000 and connect with all 14,000 of these people on this one search. So if I go all the way to the bottom, you'll see that it stops at 40 pages. So after 40 pages, you basically run out of people to connect with. And if you count all these people up from 1 to page 40, it turns out that this, if I go all the way to page 40, I go to the, see, there's nowhere, we can't go any further in the pages. So Sales Navigator has a limit built in so that you can only access 1,000 people in one search. So in order to get access to all 14,000, we want to break up the original 14 into groups of 1,000 so that we can reach everyone in this group. Okay, so what I did is when I do a breakout, typically I'd look for ways to break out the specific criteria for the search. Okay, so this is all done ahead of time. Now, as long as you're within the criteria for this search and this example, you don't want to add different criteria to the search. You're basically taking away criteria to reduce the number of people so that you can get this number down here closer to 1,000. So let me give you an example. If I go in here and I take out employees 1 to 10 under company headcount, I just take that right out, and I just focus on self-employed, and I scroll back to the top, you get 587. So you could save that as a search. What I've gone ahead and done is something a little bit different. So that's one way to do it, is to start playing with the different criteria in here and taking away options so that you only target smaller groups of people. Okay, so I'm going to add the 1 to 10 back, and we're going to get back to our original search, which is the 14,000. So we want to stay within the 14,000, but we want to start taking away criteria so that we start to get groups of 1,000. So let me show you how I did it for this one. So what I did is I noticed there were two big categories on seniority level, owner and partner. I deleted partner, okay? So you can see partner had about 6,600, and we're just focusing on owner. So now the original 14,000 dropped to just under 8,000. Then what I do is, because I'm focused just on the owners, is I go in and I use the search keywords to narrow the searches even further. Let me show you how to do that. So what I did is I did these searches ahead. So I start with first, anyone who is a personal injury search and associates has that on their profile. So if I copy and paste that in here, and again, remember, we're just focused just on owners, and if I copy and paste that in here, what happens is I get about just over 1,000 people. I try to keep it under 1,000. In this case, it's 1,045. I'm happy with that. Once I have 1,000 people, or roughly just under 1,000 in the search, you go to Save Search, you give it a name, you add the number of people in the search, and that's it. Now I've already gone ahead and done that, and that's this search right here. I've called it A, cold, because we're cold connecting, and then the number of people in the search. Okay, so that's number one. And then all you do is you go over here, you change the alerts to never, you hit check mark after you put in a name. I'll just put in test. Okay, so you go to never, I don't need an alert, created, doesn't matter, and then hit the check mark. Done. Now it's saved. Okay? So what you do is you go through and I go to the next search. So in this case, I did some searches and I found that group, if I do group and personal injury as those keywords, that turns out a good group, but I don't want to include the original group of people. So what I do is I put not, and then I put the word associates in brackets after the not. And notice that there's a space right here between not and the bracket, okay? So I take this and I put it right here because we don't want to include that original group, but we are going to include people who are personal injury and group, but not associates. Okay, so I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste that here. That's going to change the search again. This time I get 1,073. Great. Go ahead and save the search again. This one, it would be test number 2, but in this case I've already saved it. B, and there it is. 1,072 people, cold, okay? Because we're cold connecting. And you just keep labeling them and adding the number of people in the search group as you go through, okay? And then you save it. That's it. That's the task. So I've gone ahead and done this, but basically what we're doing is you go to the next one. So I did another search, personal injury and center, those are the keywords, and then not the very first 2 searches. So we're going to say not associates and not group, because that's what we did for the previous search. And then we save that as C. Okay? So that's how you do the segmenting for the client search. In this case, I've already gone ahead and done it. So you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And this gets us a good group of that original 14,000 for people who are specifically owners. For the next segment, what you could do is you could go in, take out owners, and just focus on partners. What this will do is we'll give you all the people who are partners but not owners. So if I take away and go back to the original, we had personal injury, and we have people who are just partners, right? The owners is the one we already did, broke out into 1,000, but now we have partner. If I go back to the top, I have 6,600, and guess what? You can go through and use the exact same keywords as you did the first time. You can start with this search, A, then B, then C, then D, and so on, okay? So that's how you break out the searches when you're running the segmenting, so that we can actually connect to the markets, okay? So like I said, once a month I may ask you to do that activity, and I will save the original audience so that you can actually break it out, okay? That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.